At this point in time, I really don't care what the speed is on Zwift. I feel like I'm really super slow. Zwift tells me I'm only going at 14 kilometers an hour right now. But it's all about making this leg work its magic and get back to where we used to be. I'm in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm on the UCI World's course in Zwift, which is flat, but it does have some cobbles, and I'm just here to ride and get the miles in. Hospital, because apparently a common side effect of amputation is collapsed arch in the other foot. Now, I already had an orthotic for the right foot, but we've had to get another one made because my arch collapsed further, which meant my foot would really hurt. My foot was hurting before anything else was hurting when I was walking, so now we've got one like this. This one is more like I used to have because it's a bendy one. And if I get back to running, then that will enable me to run as well. But it's a case of sticking it in my shoe and finding out what happens. Wow, what a day. I'm now back in my second home, the Victoria Hotel, for a limb centre appointment in the morning. Since the last time I spoke at the hospital, I have been, where have I been? Physio. Physio was, he likes to challenge me. He told me to stand on one leg and then wrapped a band around a post in front of me and told me to pull down like this with both hands on the band and standing on my left leg. I'm gonna have to practice that because I could do it this way and I could do it this way, but the change of direction, I couldn't keep my balance for the change of direction. So I was all over the place. But I did manage, whilst waiting for him, to stand on the gyro board without holding on and do a mini squat. So that was a bonus. And then from there, I went and had lunch because I knew that I would be arriving at this crazy time of night. What is it? It is 9:15, and I'm just about to have my packed lunch that would have been actual lunch, along with 2 beers I've just asked them to deliver to me. And I had a meal at lunchtime at a restaurant, cafe, because I knew it was going to happen like this. Then from there I went to work and did a bundle of massages and had a meeting in between. And then from there set straight off to here. And I didn't stop anywhere. And it's now pitch black. When I got here, it's pitch black. And yeah, I'm absolutely bushwhacked. I also keep having this problem. So what's happening there is my ankle swells up as the day goes on, and I've been told that this is a side effect of surgery, but I think I need to go and see my doctor, and they need to maybe give me some MLD, because yes, the longer I stand up in the day, the more my lymphatic system has an issue. Now, I hope it will right itself, because it'd be a bit of a problem it doesn't. I just end up with puffy fat ankles by the end of the day. So I think I need to elevate my legs and drink some beer and have some food. Yes, the cover has arrived. Yay! Now, I chose 3 options for the pattern and I got my second choice. And that's fine. I don't mind. And here is what it looks like. So that is the leg as it currently stands now. Now, it enables me to be able to put on trousers and they don't flap around. It straps on with buckles a bit like a bike shoe that tighten across the back here. Now, we have had to stick down these little straps at the side with some Velcro because they were catching on the sides of my leg. But I'm feeling pretty stoked about that because it means that I can rock this leg. And instead of blending in, I am going to stand out. So there we are. That's what it looks like. Now, there's a lot of stuff I learned today in the limb centre. And there's lots of conversations went on. Now, when I first got there, I was asking him about shoes. A couple of pairs of shoes that I have not been able to wear for a really long time. One is these, and these are not going to be too much of a problem. I'm just going to have the orthotic cut to fit because it won't fit in the shoe because it's slimmer. But the bonus of that is, apparently, because I don't have a left foot, I get 2 right feet. So I don't have to get 2 pairs of orthotics. I just get 1 pair of orthotics, but they're 2 right feet. It's a shame I can't just say I've got 2 left feet, but I don't. I've got no left feet and 2 right feet. And so he's going to cut the second one slightly narrower to fit into the shoes. But the second pair of shoes that I haven't been able to wear for a really long time are these. Now, these shoes have only got a really small heel. You can see that there. A really small heel, but you'll never believe the problems that gave us when you're putting a flat foot into the shoe. We've had to pack out the toe with 3mm of foam to make the leg stand up straight, because obviously the foot has got no flex. So once they've been able to give me a narrower orthotic, I'll be able to wear some different shoes rather than just these ones that I've worn like forever and ever. So that's quite exciting. From there, I talked to him about this ankle. So we've been talking, me and the physiotherapist have been talking about this ankle for a while. And the fact the ankle doesn't move very much. And we've been trying to problem solve how to do a massage stance. I've not been able to. And we've decided it is because of the lack of movement in the ankle. So me and Ryoji had this conversation about the ankle and what we were going to do about it. And he asked me to show him the stance that I was trying to get into. And so I showed him and he was like, oh, that's quite an angle. And then we had had a long conversation about ankles and feet and all the different types of feet you can get. Now, apparently, I didn't know this till today, feet are K-rated according to your activity level. So me and the physio have been wondering how I get upgraded on the foot and what I need to be able to do to get a better foot. Well, the problem that I had with the squeaky ankle, I think we might have found it out. It wasn't actually the ankle, it was the bend of the toe in the foot. So I was never going to be able to fix it with CRC spray. So we talked about the foot and what I was trying to get it to do. And he asked me what I normally do, you know, what's my normal routine. And I said, oh, well, you know, I cycle maybe twice a week on the indoor trainer. I go swimming maybe 3 times a week, and then walking once or twice a week. He asked me how far I'd gotten walking, and I said 2.6k. And he was like, and how's your stump with all of this? I said, oh yeah, it's fine, no problem, you know, because you know, sometimes overuse you get stump breakdown and, you know, skin breakdown and friction and, you know, sores and stuff like that. But no, I don't have any of that. No, it's fine. And he's like, oh my gosh. Well, you're definitely outperforming that foot then. It's like, why? What is this foot supposed to do? And this is when we got talking about the K rating. So there's a K rating for feet, prosthetic feet. You start off with K1, which is the basic. You can perhaps get around the house just about, and you have to use walking aids. Then K2 is simple, short, around the neighborhood, and you probably still need a walking aid, and you can't do differences in heights of surfaces and things like that too well. Then K3, it involves exercise. You're adding exercise, and then K4 and upwards then involves impact. So then Ryoji said, when we were trying to decide what sort of ankle we go for next, so which one is more important to you? The way you want to stand for massage or walking? It's like, oh gosh. Well, massage is not the be all and end all. You know, my whole life does not revolve around massage, but it'd be quite cool if I could walk a bit further. So yeah, we'll go for the walking. So then he asked me, did I want to dash anywhere? I'm like, no, Ryoji, no, I'm not dashing. What I'm doing is walking, period. We need to master the walking, Ryoji, before we go for the dashing. And apparently the reason for that was the amount of cushioning and impact there is in the ankle. So then we had a conversation then about the types of foot that we can have next. So there's a hydraulic foot, that the ankle has a bit more movement, but it only has 3 to 6 degrees. 3 degrees one way, 6 degrees the other. So I was like, is that it? I learned a lot about the limits of prosthetic ankles today. Is that going to be enough? I'm like, I don't know. Is that going to be enough? And then he was asking me about impact and did I want to dash and walk fast? And no, Ryoji. What we're going for is distance and, you know, being able to walk. Full stop. That's the and that sort of thing. So then we talked about the hydraulic foot that's got a pump in it that cushions as you walk and keeps the negative pressure in the socket, so makes the leg fit tighter. So I was like, oh, I like the sound of that. But we don't want to make too many changes too fast, because it's better doing incremental small changes like it is with anything to get used to the difference that makes. Because believe me, the difference it made standing on these shoes rather than these shoes, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. So we decided that we would go for the hydraulic ankle, but not the cushioning one. We'd maybe work our way up to that. And we're going to see how that goes. But the problem is with that is the parts take time. So what we're going to have to do is reconstruct a leg with the new socket on whilst we wait for the ankle and foot, the upgraded ankle and foot. So then he asked me about the sweat and the liner and stuff like that. We had a conversation about that. Should we change the liner to a thinner liner? It's like, well, that's quite neat, because then they'll be able to cycle and bend my knee a bit better and whatnot. It takes about 2 weeks to come. I'm like, well, if it takes 2 weeks to come, and at the moment, Ryoji, my leg is only lasting 4 weeks. You do the casting, we wait for the liner to come. By the time you've done that, I'm going to need a new cast again. So I'm not sure that's a great idea. But they look pretty neat and they're a lot less bulky. So that's another thing we're going to hold off on, because the socket, the leg, to be truthful, needs to last me more than 4 weeks, because they're only lasting about 3 to 4 weeks at the moment before I had a new one. And we have to wait 2 weeks for each liner, and they cost $1,500, these liners each. Then I don't think that's going to be very viable longer term. So we're going to wait and keep the current liner that I've got, which is slightly thicker, but which means there's a little bit more movement, but that's okay. So then, okay, Ryoji, we've got a plan. So we've got a plan, Stan. We've got an ankle coming that's going to give me a little bit more movement. It will make the walking look more natural. But what about the cycling, Ryoji? And he's like, oh, cycling. The number of times I mentioned this cycling. Yes, Ryoji, it's quite important to me, this cycling. So we had a conversation about that. So the problem there with the cycling is, like the walking, the socket is going to change so frequently still. If we've got 2 legs going on with 2 sockets, then we're going to have 2 lots of castings and 2 sockets and two payments having to be applied for to ACC every 4 weeks. So I was like, is that really sustainable? And I thought about it for a while. So yeah, probably not. If the size of my leg is changing so fast, then yeah. So what else can we do to fix this cycling part then, Ryoji? So what we're going to do is cut the back of the socket down a little bit lower, which will hopefully allow me to bend the knee more. So how much lower?
Well, who knows? That means I'm going to get the test socket to take away and try, which is a new thing for me. So next week when I go to pick up the test socket, they're going to reinforce it and let me take it. So then I can try it, which is quite neat because then I can walk around on it for a couple of weeks and then we'll see how much the shrinkage has happened, and it might reduce the amount of sockets we keep having to make. So that is the plan, Stan. So my decision was, no, I don't want to dash anywhere. No, I don't want to just stand and massage all day and all night. I want to be able to walk. Let's go for the walking and the natural walking to start with. We'll see how much mobility that gives me in the ankle with regards to the massage. It may or may not work, and that's okay, because firstly, we need to look at lifestyle and what that does for me. So we're going to reconstruct the leg with a new socket on the current ankle whilst waiting for the new one to come. Then we talked about liners, and we're not going to change the liner, but in the longer term, we're going to change it to a thinner liner, this more expensive one, and it's really quite thin at the top, but it's thicker at the bottom and it's graduated. So it sits more neatly on your leg and it doesn't look as bulky. I've got a big bulky band around my leg at the moment with this one on. So the new liner would look better and look more flush and wouldn't stand out quite as much. But we actually probably need to wait for the shrinkage on the leg to slow down a little bit before we can do that. So I learned an awful lot about feet and prosthetics and things like that today, and I said to him, nobody has ever said to me before, what type of foot would you like? My answer was, I'd prefer the one I was born with, but I can't have it. So that's what happened at the limb centre. Now, of course, there's only one place that I must go to whilst I'm in Dunedin, especially since I've only got about 10 more days of a window to be able to do that. Guess where that was? Yes, St Clair. So I'm really wondering now whether my new cutout socket will let me ride the time trial bike. Will it let me straighten the crank back out to its normal length or not? Will it make my walking look normal? We'll just have to wait and see.